And so castor oil packs, just for everybody at home, in case somebody needs catching up, is for what?
Stagnation.
For stagnation. For removing stagnation, it penetrates, it gets rid of stagnation. Abhyanga, why are we doing Abhyanga? Calm vata, to interrupt that cortisol, that bucket syndrome, interrupt that business of cortisol keying the nervous system to be too tightly wound so that we're perceiving benign events as threats and that whole thing, right? Nadi Shodhana to balance the hormones that we talked about in part 1, dissolving obstruction, which we also did in part 1, to dissolve the obstructions. So if we're looking at this in terms of the 6 therapeutic principles, if we go through them, do we need any kind of Langana treatment? She's got high vata, but do we need Rukshana?
Yeah.
We do. She's got high vata, but we need Rukshana, don't we? We really need to move the obstruction in these channels. So this is a perfect example of someone who really needs a combination of both, right? So we need Rukshana therapy. And so if we do this through herbs, then we can address, so we're addressing the blockage through herbs, we're addressing the Rodha through herbs, we're addressing it through castor oil, but castor oil pack is also pretty relaxing, so that's also going to be Brahmana. Abhyanga is going to be Brahmana. Nadi Shodhana is going to be balancing. Dissolving obstruction is going to be Rodha, but is going to deal with the Rodha, but not in a vata aggravating way. Dinacharya is going to stabilize things. Do we need Stambhana? Could we use Stambhana therapy in this? She's got vata going on. Does she need stability? Stambhana means stabilizing. So could we use some Stambhana? So we could do something with liquid. Maybe liquid. Maybe making sure that when she takes her herbs, maybe they're in a liquid form or with honey, right? It really in a tea, rather than putting dry powder on, maybe and we make it into a tea and we put honey in it and we take it.
How about warm milk?
Warm milk, maybe that's going to be a little bit too Brahmana at the moment. Maybe.
Why?
Because milk is one of the most Brahmana things, right?
Why she seems very, like she needs a lot of Brahma to me. So
But what if that becomes, her digestion isn't good? What if that becomes ama and clogs the channels?
Okay.
So we got to be careful because her digestion is super sensitive. So we've got to nourish her gently and slowly. Right? And very much from the outside so that she doesn't have to have this low Agni not digesting things. If she could digest that milk, maybe. So maybe it could be more warm milk with some spices in it to help it digest. Maybe she could do that, but we have to watch her digestion. We'll definitely want to do the Rukshana herbs, won't we? If she can handle it. Now, these are hard to digest, so we're going to have to watch her. But if we give them to her and we support her in all these other ways in terms of stabilizing her, maybe she can handle that.
Do you know if the sexual abuse, like what part of her life that occurred?
Early in life.
So maybe the herbs in the morning then?
Herbs in the morning because of the Brahma Muhurta. The Dinacharya and the time of these herbs, Brahma
Yeah, and the Nadi Shodhana.
Muhurta. Right, so Brahma Muhurta here, Brahma Muhurta here, Brahma Muhurta here, Brahma Muhurta here, Brahma Muhurta. We might as well, right?
she's gotta get up early.
Get up early and love herself. So let me tell you what we did and what the outcome was, okay? We did the Rukshana herbs. We did Triphala. And the Rukshana herbs were very, very, very close to the basic animal form herbal template that we went over today. Almost, it's very, so even though that's hard to digest, the idea was let's try and work with these Brahmana supports on the outside and see if that works. And so we did that. We looked at the aspect of identification, because with this identification as an artist instead of a soul, it was don't become anything, right? This idea. And she's thinking, like, I'm not becoming what I'm supposed to become. And that was causing a tremendous amount of instability. So we looked at stabilizing as identifying as being a soul instead of being a something else. We did Nadi Shodhana. We did a very gentle form of Nadi Shodhana. We did a thin slice of ginger with a pinch of rock salt and a spray of lime half an hour before meals. We just talked about breathing deeply into the lower abdomen, even so that it's not Nadi Shodhana and the rest of the day chest breathing. We did Dinacharya. We did Abhyanga. We did castor oil packs. She was motivated to do all these things. This is a lot of stuff to do. And she did them all.
When did she take the herbs, both Triphala and the moving herbs?
Where did she get them? When would she take them? I had her take a quarter teaspoon 3 times a day before meals, because it was working on the lower part of the body with warm water. She'd put them on her tongue and wash them down with warm water. Sesame seeds, avoid coffee, vata pacifying diet. I'm going to read you a little part directly from this letter that she wrote. So we talked then, we had one more follow-up, and then I got this letter, and she had become really ill, and she had to go back to the hospital, and the same surgeon opened her up for this illness, and he was totally surprised to find that all the severe endometriosis on my bowel and omentum that was photographed during my first laparoscopy had completely disappeared. Completely. He said it was very unusual and even called it a miracle. I told him about the regimen and herbs prescribed by you. I believe that this, combined with visualization during meditation and working on emotional issues, helped to heal those gut-level organs. That was a few months. That was a few months, friends. So this stuff that we've been talking about, in part 1 and part 2, they seem kind of simple. And they are kind of simple. Just the hard part is making the life change. But dealing with stagnation, which is something that many, many, many women have, and the stagnation resulting from hormonal imbalance, that's pretty straightforward. So we don't absolutely need to know if it's Vata, Pitta, Kapha, or Ama. We need to have a tridoshic approach often, because often a tridoshic approach is needed, because often there's stress and stagnation. So if we support the organism through dinacharya, through abhyanga, through alternate nostril breathing, through routine, through all of these stabilizing things, and we support the stagnation, move the stagnation with rukshana, not be afraid to use rukshana therapy along with vata pacifying other stuff, it really is powerful.